Come have fun with us and don't forget to subscribe.
The Heaven's Arena arc. In the Heaven's Arena arc, Gon and Killua journey to Heaven's Arena to train and make money. In addition to encountering Hisoka, with whom Gon has a rematch, the two meet a man named Wing, who agrees to teach them something called Nen. Big focus on Nen during this arc, and that's always something that I'm curious with first-time watcher because I'd already seen it. But like as you were watching this and they were explaining Nen and re-explaining, because the first time you didn't explain the real thing, and then as they watch the fights of the Heaven's Arena, they explain more things and introduce more elements. Did at some point, did it cross your mind that like this is too much?
No, not really. I wouldn't say so. I feel like the existence of some kind of source of energy, power, something like this is a common element in
but I didn't mean the existence of it. I meant the level of explanation and the level of like different elements added to it, and all very quickly, you know.
To be fair, I never could really follow it completely. Like there were always things that got away from me, but as they were explaining it, it made sense. It's not like it didn't make sense. It's true that there were a lot of elements that, unless they were important in the moment, I wasn't thinking about them. Like they were, I couldn't explain to you how exactly Nen works in this.
Right now, if I would ask you,
I wouldn't know. But I didn't think it was too much. I think it was well constructed, you know, so it worked.
I do feel like they could have spaced out the explanation a little bit so that you would be able to, you know, absorb the information more, right? Once I've understood this, now introduce this new thing. And
right.
You know.
I have to say, the Heaven's Arena arc is probably, I mean, it's not like I don't like it, but if I am to compare with all of them, it's probably my least favorite one. Because what you mentioned right now about like the explanations of Nen and the introduction of Nen and everything, I kind of got that feeling for the whole arc. Like I feel like they rushed through it a little bit. I feel like they could have put more things there, you know. It feels like there were elements that could have been developed more. It feels like they could have spent more time on this part.
It's a lot in a very quick amount of time, right? Not only Nen, but like Heaven's Arena is also explained, and there's so many rules, and then there's even another part to it that we never get to, which I appreciate that we never get to. You know, because that's what I was saying, but this is a lived-in world, right? They don't need to experience all of it.
They don't need to go everywhere.
But they explain it to us nonetheless, and so that's more information on top of what we were already learning, that we need to, you know, focus on remembering.
Right.
But some might say that it's not really necessary for you to remember every rules of Heaven's Arena to understand and enjoy what's happening.
Yeah, that's
Same
true.
with Nen.
And I'm not saying that they needed to explore everything. I'm just saying of the things that we were shown, I feel like they could have been developed a little bit more.
A big part of the arc, though, was, of course, Gon's rematch with Hisoka.
That was such a good fight.
So good. And this is also a moment where we continue to develop Hisoka's character. We see him, you know, by himself. We learn about his affiliation with the Phantom Troop. We start seeing him do even more of his questionable reactions to Gon and to other things around him.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But I think this is probably a perfect moment to ask you, what do you think of Hisoka as a character, or a good old magician?
Oh, is this the best moment? Because I feel still at this point, we still mainly see one side of him.
Oh, is that
at this point in the story?
So you think in Yorknew?
Yeah, that's when he really becomes even more. I mean, I like Hisoka from the beginning, but as like an antagonist, right? As the bad guy, as the evil guy in the story, or something. It's in Yorknew that you really start getting more of his like complexity, I guess, his other
sides. Well, let's get to Yorknew then. The Yorknew City arc focuses on Kurapika's involvement in the Mafia as he aims to retrieve the stolen Scarlet Eyes of his clan. Taking place mostly in Yorknew City itself, Kurapika's mission eventually becomes intertwined with the killers of his clan and the target of his vengeance, the infamous Phantom Troop.
I think that Yorknew is such a great arc because this is the first time when we really understand how like there are really no bad characters, because it's in Yorknew I feel that both Hisoka and Kirua's family, yes, especially his father and grandfather, are put in a position where you're like, I kind of root for you now, and that's what I was saying. Like every character is at some point in a position in a fight where you root for them.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I feel when we really realize, or when I really realized that, oh, these guys, they're not really the bad guys. They're just sometimes on the other side. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that it is especially made clear through one element of the storytelling, which is perception. A lot of the arc is through the perception and through the eyes of the Phantom Troop themselves. We spend a lot of times in their lair as they're discussing things, how Kurapika's actions affect them, right? In their eyes, Kurapika is the antagonist.
Right.
And we see that through their point of view. And that's when you realize, and Gon mentions it, and it's mentioned several times, right? They care about each other deeply, right? And so you can't just paint them in one brush as this evil group with no feelings, right?
And I feel like you especially get it at the end, like the way the arc is concluded, the way the story is concluded, makes you realize, like, even amongst them, because throughout the story, sure, you get the story from their perspective and you kind of understand it, at least at some levels, right? But you still don't really want them to have it their way, right? Until the very end, when you realize, like, oh, but even amongst them, like they're different people and they have different reasons of their own and different feelings and emotions. And I think it's so well done, with the Phantom Troop. But also, like I was mentioning, with the Zoldyck family and with Hisoka too.
And with Hisoka, that's when we learn one of his main motivation, right, which is to fight Krollo. That's why he's passing as a member of the troop. And even associating himself with Kurapika, which is not the last time Hisoka will ally himself with, our main characters. Right. This arc, I love it. It is my second favorite arc in the anime, and
yeah, I would say so too.
And it's not through any fault of its own. It's just because the number one is the number one, But to me, like, Yorknew City is so good. It's nearly perfect as an arc. Like I have very little to say about it that would be negative. I can't even think of anything actually.
Yeah.
The next arc is Greed Island. In the Greed Island arc, Gon and Killua journey through the deadly video game Greed Island as the former continues to search for his father. The two meet another Nen teacher, Bisky, and discover that a sinister trio is killing other players during their quest to clear the game. So to me, this is kind of a bit of a turn, right? As I was saying, Yorknew is number 2, but through no fault of its own, I have a hard time finding faults in it. Greed Island, in my opinion, you were saying like Heaven's Arena is your lowest rank. Greed Island would be my lowest ranked arc. Yes. I feel like a lot of what makes this anime is the characters in anime, but also the viewer's relationship with the antagonists. The antagonists in Greed Island, I do not care for.
I was just gonna say that. I feel like maybe this is the only arc, because I was saying like all the characters are complex. I feel this is the only arc where the antagonists are really not that complex.
Yeah.
They're really just kind of
evil.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end, you see that the trio, they care about each other, right? Because they're like, oh, heal my friend first. But that's very little.
Yeah,
and
but
that's at the very
barely,
end.
It's barely redeeming.
Yeah, exactly.
For the characters. Yeah.
There's a lot of, evil laugh moments throughout with them. You're kind of just like, I don't know. I was way more interested in just the game itself. But at the end, we rushed through that, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I feel like while the antagonist didn't work that well, other parts of the story I feel work really well. We get more growth on the main character's side.
Yeah.
We get introduced to like new characters. But I feel like what worked the best for me in this arc is how it fit in the overall story of Gon, you know,
Looking for
his dad.
Mhm.
I feel like it feels like here he was so close, like he was almost there. He could almost get to him, but then, you know, obviously he doesn't because something else happens. But it feels like you get a taste of it, you know. So I feel like that worked really well.
Yeah. And I enjoy also everyone's involvement in it. The troop is there, Hisoka is there.
Yeah.
Bisky is a great addition to the cast also.
And from that point of view, I feel like it works even more to reinforce the idea that even now the main characters can, at in certain circumstances, ally themselves with whom used to be their enemy.
Yeah.
You know, so
because they play dodgeball with Hisoka and their team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the training though. I'm always a sucker for training arcs.
Training is so good.
Always nice to see. And then there was the Chimera Ant arc.
Yes.